Hey guys, welcome back to the Pop Culture Cafe. I am Huck, and yes, that Hitchcock love continues with, this whole thing right here, this big old set. We're going to do The Man Who Knew Too Much, starring James Stewart and Doris Day. Oh, I can say this was a really good one, y'all. I can't even wait. Jimmy, tell them.
As you know, Alfred Hitchcock has an uncanny knack for coming up with the unusual in entertainment. Well, The Man Who Knew Too Much can certainly be put in that category.
So there you go, right out of Jimmy's mouth. Stick around, y'all. Alright, now before I dive into this review, once again, if you're new to my channel and you've been digging all of my Hitchcock reviews, please hustle on down there and hit that like and the subscribe and smack that bell, show who's boss, and you'll get notified the next time I do another one of these reviews or any other kind of review. So yeah, here we go, 1956, The Man Who Knew Too Much, starring James Stewart and Doris Day. Now, I'm going to start just by saying right out of the gate, what an amazing score this film has. Music plays a big part in this particular film. In fact, this is actually a remake, oddly enough, of one of Hitchcock's own films, and that is The Man Who Knew Too Much from 1934. He had a contract with Paramount that he had to do one more picture with them. And so he thought it over and thought, well, what if I just remade The Man Who Knew Too Much? He literally remakes one of his own films. And in the documentary that I watched immediately following this, Hitch had said, well, the first The Man Who Knew Too Much was made by an amateur, and the new one was made by a professional. And though I haven't seen the original, I will say that absolutely this new one was made by a professional. Another thing I want to point out is the fantastic cinematography in this film by Robert Burks. He did an absolutely stellar job. This film literally starts on an orchestra playing, basically foreshadowing the piece that's going to be coming later in the film. Using these two cymbal crashes, and when the cymbals crash, he holds them up like this, and they put this graphic up on the screen that sort of is the springboard, the through line, if you will, for this entire film. And it starts off as James Stewart, Doris Day, and their son Hank, played by Christopher Olsen. This kid did a really good job. They are on vacation in the Middle East, and they're traveling on a bus, and the kid gets up just to kind of wander around, and the bus hits a bump, and he falls against this Indian woman who's wearing her veil. And if you know anything about the culture, as the women stay veiled up across the face, and he pulls it off. So she covers her face real quick, and he sort of falls back to the back of the bus holding the veil, and the husband of that woman gets very pissed off and gets all up in their face, really threatening. But there's some guy who steps in and kind of calms things down. This character's name is Louis Bernard, played by Daniel Galen. He is excellent, and again, he's a very pivotal role in this film. So he starts talking to James Stewart, Doris Day, and the kid, getting to a little bit about them, kind of befriends them, meets up at their hotel, and decides to have dinner with them. Now, there's kind of a small thing going on at this time. Now, this other couple, known as Lucy and Edward Drayton, played by Brenda DeBanzi and Bernard Miles, they're the other couple in this film. And this couple kind of becomes a little two-faced, y'all. They end up basically kidnapping their son, because the guy Bernard is killed in a very public area. And he's wearing makeup to darken his skin, right? So he fits in more as one of the locals. But as he falls into James Stewart and he's falling down, Stewart's hands sort of wipe his face like that and basically take the makeup off onto his hands. And that's how he recognizes that it's the guy who bailed them out on the bus. So as he's dying, he whispers something very crucial to James Stewart because he just seems to trust him. And this piece of information he sits on, even though his son's life is now at stake. Because the people who took the son, the English couple, know that he heard something and they want to know what he knows, and that becomes the entire catalyst for the entire film. So they then go to London, where the film continues there. And I'm just going to say, so there's a scene. Okay, I'm going to try not to get emotional, because this really did get me. I'm not kidding. there's a scene between Doris Day's character, Jo, and her son, Hank, where they are in the hotel room, and they're singing this song that I knew the song, did not know it came from this film. And it's the song, Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. Right, famous Doris Day song. Ended up winning an Oscar for Best Song that year for this song. And she's singing it to her son, and he's kind of singing it back. And then at a certain point in the song, he whistles, you know, because that's just what they do together. And all I can say is this moment, where I thought was just a cute moment, literally comes back to play at the end of the film. Now, I'm not going to tell you how or what happens, but when it happens, I literally burst into tears. I was like that. It was so freaking good, y'all. It was so good. That moment that Hitchcock crafted and laid out early in the film comes to play. And he didn't even want a song in the film. Paramount says, you've chosen Doris Day. She is a red-hot singer right now, and we want a song in this film. And based on their insistence, he had some writers come up with a song that they also played to Doris Day's vocal talents. And as soon as Hitch heard it, he's like, I don't normally like songs in my film, and this is the perfect song for my film. Yeah. So, oh my God, it was so perfect. The interplay with all the actors is excellent as always. And this is another one of those jet-setting adventures that Hitch is known for, similar to North by Northwest or Torn Curtain. And I loved it. I love the whole adventurous. I'm finding that I really like Hitch's adventurous films that take off and take you to places. And it's just really good. Like I said, cinematography, music, the acting, it all comes into play. Hitch just, in my opinion, crafted one of my favorite films. I didn't really know anything about The Man Who Knew Too Much. I don't even know if people talk about this as one of their favorites. But I'm telling you, at the end of this film, I freaking love this film. I love this film. It's phenomenal. I don't know what else to tell you about it other than all the things I just said. I'm just going to leave it at that because, again, Hitch's movies filled with their twists and turns. I don't want to feed you too much of all that stuff, but all of the other things that I mentioned come into play so well, including that the musical score from the beginning comes back at the end. So Hitch's composer, Bernard Herrmann, who Hitch also cast as the actual composer in this film, just did a phenomenal job scoring this film. And even so that he had said, since it plays such a pivotal moment at the beginning and at the very end, he's going to use very minimal composition throughout the rest of the film so that it really has impact at the end. He does nice little music moments to kind of keep the little tension building here and there, but he does save that big hearty music for the end of the film. And I think you guys, when you see it, you'll know what I mean, and I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. So that is my review and recommendation for this film, The Man Who Knew Too Much. I cannot suggest and recommend this film anymore. It was one of my favorites. All right, that's going to do it for now, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this Hitchcock review. If you enjoyed it, please get on down there and hit like and subscribe and smack that notification bell so you get notified the next time I do my next Hitchcock or any other movie review. All right, that's all for now. So until next time, go watch Hitchcock.